Hello and welcome to part 3 of the series of getting the Spectranet interface on the pick and place machine. Today we're going to finish the configuration of the Spectranet files within the software of the pick and place machine, and then we're going to calibrate the new reels that we installed in one of the previous videos, and then we're going to do some step-by-step placements of the parts on one of the first boards. So let's get it going. So let's fire up the machine, because we cannot run the software without it. It will make some buzzing noise as always. There it is. So I got here the USB stick that I put on the XY files that we created in the previous video. And let's load up one of the files. As you can see here, all the components that we put in the previous video on my other machine are in here. All the positions are in here. Not only the smaller parts, but also the bigger chips here. So we should be able to do a test run with these settings, but that can only happen, of course, when we actually set the positions of the parts for the new reels that we installed in the first video of this series. Before I start calibrating the reels, let me just show you what the prick and the nozzle should do. So if I click prick move to for reel 5, this is what it does. And you will see when I press to forward tape by one part, it will do this. And the next step in this process is getting the nozzle to the part, and it's exactly on top of the part now. So this is exactly what it should do. So let's do a quick setup of all the reels. So this will take some time. I think it's good to just speed it up, and you will see the results in a minute. So reel 21 is kind of problematic. It's because of the thin plastic tape that is used for this one. And I got more of these reels with plastic tape, but this one seems to be slightly thinner than other types. And what happens is, I will show you. So it is in now, and it should move the tape and then go up again. But you can see it's stuck. It's stuck in the tape. The prick won't come out, and I can gently push the head here, and you will see it will disconnect of the tape. And that is because the force of the prick is too much for this tape, and it's only with this tape. So as I said, I got more of these plastic tapes here, and it seems that this one is just too thin for the way that this pick and place machine moves the tape forward. There's not much I can do about it. I sanded the prick down a couple of times, I even polished it. It's not enough, it still sticks in this tape. For now I will just put this on by hand, because my pick and place machine is not capable of forwarding this tape. It's a pity, but the other reels will go without any problem, we'll show you. Okay, one of the last things is setting the positions of the chips to be picked up. So I have some space here for all the chips, and I have some laying here for that. So this is the SRAM chip, this is the HCT245, this is the big CPLD chip, this is the ROM chip, and this is the Ethernet controller. But they are not placed very accurately this way. But the camera here on the left will be used to make sure what the center point of the chips is, so that way they will be positioned accurately. So let's set the positions of all the chips. Let's start with the Wisnet chip. And I will set it in slow mode. We will lower the nozzle a bit more, so it's right on top of the chip. And I just need to set it to about the center of the chip. So I'm looking from both sides. This looks good. So I'm going to set the XY coordinates in stack 5, and then we're going to lift the nozzle just for safety, and we're going to stack 6. I know this is slow, but good enough for now. So the center of this chip is a bit more to the right, so I need to move it a bit to the right. Let's put the nozzle down again. The next step will be to try all the components on a test board. I want to use solder paste because if something goes wrong then there will be solder paste on the nozzles. And so I will create a Spectranet board with some tape where the components will stick on. Alright, so it's now properly installed and we can place the first part if we want. So let's just do that. Let's place a part. Okay, you see I have to push down the tape here a bit, otherwise it will mess with the head. So and after all the changes and fixes we did, this is the result. And please mind this, the tape here on top is moving a lot, so the parts might not look as they're perfectly placed. And they're actually not perfectly placed because this machine is not a very professional one, it's a budget one, and the surface tension of the solder paste when it's going into the reflow oven will make sure that the parts will align properly. Of course I want to know if the Wisnet chip, for example, here is positioned a bit better, but when the boards come off the pick and place machine, and again this might be due to the tape moving, when the board comes off the pick and place machine I will inspect it before going into the reflow oven. And as you can see, there are some parts missing. The bigger parts are missing, so for example R6, which is a 1 mega ohm in the 1206 package, which is a bigger one that I don't have on this machine. The two inductors here on top, L1 and L2, the crystal, which is a through-hole part, and the LEDs as well, and the connectors. The voltage regulator is a very big part, and two large tantalum capacitors here that will be placed manually as well. And then some transistors. Oh, by the way, these are the two transistors that are not picked by the machine because of the reel that's being messed up every time the prick wants to move the tape forward. A small single gate part here, U6, that will be placed by hand as well. And that the only reason for that is I don't want to buy a reel of those. It's too expensive. I don't need that many. So all in all, it looks quite good. If this board would have paste on it, it can almost go into the reflow oven. Just needs to align some parts. But again, that's for now mainly based on the tape that's moving around the board, as you can see. But this is a quite good result, and of course when the board will be run completely automatically, it will save me a tremendous amount of time. The machine will take about, I guess, 2 minutes when it's completely run automatically. And if I would need to do this by hand, it would take about 20 minutes. But I still have to place a lot of parts manually, so the edge connectors, some other connectors and LEDs, the voltage regulator, the capacitors and the inductors, and that will still take some time. But I expect to be able to up the amount of boards I can do in an hour by a factor of about 3, I think. So the next video will be a complete run of the first board, to keep you all excited of course. So bye for now and see you in the next video.